Mustang Morning News is a public forum for student expression. Students make all content decisions, and opinions do not necessarily represent those of the Manhattan Beach Unified School District.
Today we dive into college admissions, from crafting the perfect personal brand to standing out in ways you never expected. We reveal the secret strategies to getting that acceptance letter.
Plus, competing in high school sports isn't just about skill. It comes with a cost. We break down the price student athletes pay.
Ever wondered how your class schedule is made? We take you behind the scenes to see what really goes into it.
Welcome to the Mustang Morning News. I'm Gordon Jonas.
And I'm Raquel Bowen.
These stories and a new Costa Quiz are just ahead.
We all know the basics of college admissions: good grades, test scores, extracurriculars, and a strong essay. But with college applications more competitive than ever, these alone may not get you into the college of your choice. Luna Flores and McKenna King talked with experts to find out what colleges are really looking for in a successful applicant.
Many Costa students use these approaches, but it turns out there are more important ways to prove your ability and set yourself apart in an increasingly competitive college application process. Admissions officers are now placing more weight on storytelling, character, and unique experiences. So what are the strategies that students are using to get ahead? According to the National Association for College Admissions Counseling, 56% of colleges now rank extracurricular activities and personal essays as considerably important in their admissions decisions. Darby Roth, a Costa senior who's already accepted into multiple colleges, emphasizes,
really staying true to myself, because it's like cliche, but there is only one you.
Darby's personal niche activities helped her stay true to her passions. A 2023 report from the Harvard Graduate School of Education highlights that admissions officers are increasingly drawn to applicants who demonstrate a commitment to ethical engagement and societal improvement. Some students are turning to private college counselors for help, but access to these strategies isn't always equal. According to the Hello College organization, private counselors can charge anywhere from a few $1,000s to over $10,000. Or $100 to $400 an hour, depending on the level of service. But if you don't have a private counselor, experts say that the key is
activities, the depth of your activities, and the impact that you have.
Some of the biggest errors that students encounter are:
a lot of people think that I have to do everything.
While many students try to participate in as many extracurriculars as possible, it is more valuable to focus on activities that align with your passions and interests. For the Mustang Morning News, this is McKenna King and Luna Flores.
If you're interested in finding out more about the competition to get into college, especially in California, you'll want to play today's quiz.
Go to our Instagram and visit @Mustang Morning News and respond with your name and the answer to today's question for a chance to win a shout out from our account.
Here's today's question. Which UC school was one of the top 3 most applied to universities in the country by prospective freshmen? Is it A, UCLA, B, UC Berkeley, C, UCSD, or D, all of the above?
Think you know the answer? Submit it through the response box on our Instagram @Mustang Morning News.
The scoreboard isn't the only thing racking up points, so are the bills. Between $100 an hour, private coaches, and costly summer leagues, high school athletes are investing big money in their futures. Palmer Mays and Brant Wilson break down the cost of competition.
Student athletes and their families spend significant time and money to compete in sports. Some families spend up to 10% of their annual income for kids to compete in sports.
Could skyrocket with privates and really whatever you wanted to put into it. So yeah, it's definitely a financial investment for a lot of our families.
Athletes who choose additional training often spend around $40 an hour for private trainers, with some costing upwards of $100 an hour. Students in high school also spend a significant amount of time on competition and practices, leaving little time and many conflicts with schoolwork.
Last Friday I missed my math test because I had All-American.
Student athletes dedicate hours to practices, early morning workouts, and weekend competitions. To balance sports and academics, students have to take either a 0 period or summer school, cutting into their personal time.
I've always said you have kind of three pots, and social, sport, and academic, and you have to balance all three, because if you do too much social, then it's not enough time for academic, not enough time for your sport. So I think it's a little bit of balance.
Athletes often go into a sport with hopes of getting recruited into college or to help out with admissions, while according to the NCAA, only around 2% of high school athletes receive athletic scholarships.
It doesn't really help out with college much, so I'm aware of that, and I don't spend as much time on it now.
For some, sports pay off through earning scholarships and college opportunities, but for many, the financial and time costs make it difficult to justify. For the Mustang Morning News, this is Palmer Mayes and Brant Wilson.
6 periods, 1 schedule, and thousands of students. How do counselors balance graduation requirements with student preferences? Emery Gregory and Bryn Berry uncover the process behind your class schedule.
2,600 students, 110 teachers, and 6 class periods. Fitting all these numbers into a neat order is a very challenging process.
As far as challenges, it's really just trying to understand what are the needs of our school, of our students, and meeting them as best as possible.
At Costa, students need to complete 230 credits to graduate, with 6 periods a day, plus an optional 0 period for early risers. Students must choose from many advanced placement, honors, and elective courses. It's up to the counselors to find classes for their students that balance these academic requirements with the students' interests. School counselor Jennifer Wildenberg states counselors help students scheduling based off of their grades and also work behind the scenes with parents. After counselors have met with their students, they hand over the data to admin.
So we use that data to start planning and determining essentially section allocation for the following academic school year. That's why it's so important that when students are meeting with their counselor for academic planning, that they're providing accurate information, and if anything changes between that meeting and the following school year, that they update their counselor accordingly.
When wanting to adjust your schedule, you can meet with your counselor before the school year is over, but at the start of the semester next year, there is an add drop and level down deadline in September. Counselors are still available to help guide you through the process and make sure you're on track to meet graduation requirements. For the Mustang Morning News, this is Emery Gregory and Bryn Berry.
Want to know which colleges are the most popular?
Here's the answer for today's Costa Quiz.
The question was, which UC school was one of the top 3 most applied to universities in the country by incoming freshmen?
The answer is D. UCLA, UCSD, and UC Berkeley made up the 3 most applied to colleges in the country, with UCLA in the lead with a staggering 145,000 incoming freshman applicants. When it comes to climate change, every choice counts. California is taking action, but individual changes like reducing energy use and supporting local sustainability efforts are just as crucial. Ana Clara Soares and Parker Risch show us what's being done and how you can be a part of the solution.
With Earth Day coming up, climate change remains one of the biggest environmental issues, contributing to extreme weather, warmer summers, severe droughts, frequent storms, and harsher natural disasters. California has seen the extent of these effects with warmer and drier conditions causing widespread fires in January. With these devastating impacts, many wonder what the California government is doing to combat climate change. But is it just on them?
I bought an electric car. I try not to use plastic bags where at all possible. It's very difficult to do that, but when I go to the grocery store, I always bring reusable bags with me. I have changed all the light bulbs in my house that they're LED.
According to CNBC, California ranks number 4 in the U.S. for fighting climate change. While electric cars and solar panels help, even small actions like washing clothes in cold water or unplugging devices can make a difference. But whose job is it to combat climate change?
Answers are there. I think there needs to be political will. There also needs to be societal will. So like I said, looking at both. And I think there needs to be corporate will. And so I think they all go hand in hand.
There are many ways to advocate for change, and some students have already taken action.
But then you could also, go bigger and push for change, whether that's on like a community level or on a state level. We had members of our team actually a few years ago ban the plastic straws and plastic bags in Manhattan Beach.
So next time you're at the grocery store or doing laundry, think about how small actions can help the environment every day. For the Mustang Morning News, this is Parker Risch and Ana Clara Soares.
That's all for today's show, but make sure to check out our Instagram at Mustang Morning News.
Thanks for watching, Mustangs, and we'll see you next time for our final show on June 5th.
Journalism kind of ties the community together.
It's fun to look into something that you know nothing about and almost become like an expert.
I feel it's much more interactive and It's something that's impacting the real world, and that's what makes it special.
It teaches you a lot about community. In other classes, you usually have to work as an individual, and in this class, it's very group-oriented.
I've worked with most of the students in this class, and I would say I've become good friends with a lot of the people in the class.
So a news package has many layers, getting all the information, and that comes through research.
You can't make a story that actually means something to someone without having this data, because without the data, you're not telling them something that they don't already know.
Interviews is also a main part of that, and that's what people don't really know is gathering interviews is probably one of the most challenging parts.
Getting the experts, talking to people who've actually been through those experiences, I think is definitely my favorite part and the most important part of making a news package.
And then also the footage is something we really take pride in. We compile it all for an edit and then is adding the final touches.
It's very fulfilling to see the final product of a news story when it's all said and done.